Audio Jungle.
Hey, welcome to the Sports Reverends podcast. I'm just going to adjust one thing here. Before we get started, just a few technical difficulties along the way, so we apologize. And I
got
have
the two brown guys and we have a tech difficulty. Not good.
I know, it's not a good look for our people.
Good luck.
It's okay, though. It's all right.
All right.
We're rolling. Okay. Welcome to the Sports Reverends podcast. We are Reverend Drew Martinless this evening, but that's okay. I got the coach, my big bro, with me. He knows all the stats, all the analytics, and he provides that encyclopedic level of sports education.
Wow.
And now we get to talk a lot more basketball because, you know, we can have some takes without Drew. So, Coach, how are you doing?
Coach is good. How are you after that wonderful, eloquent soliloquy about who I am?
I'm doing good. It's been a fun week so far. It's real warm and nice here in Toronto.
T-Dot.
And
you forgot where you were.
I forgot where I was. I'm just trying to get this Instagram going here. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you, it flurried here today.
There we go.
Which was terrifying.
It flurried. Oh my goodness! It hit like 15 here in Toronto.
Wow.
This is wild, man. It's wild. It's nice here again, and we are rolling. Sorry for any technical difficulties. We are up and live. Let's get into some Sports Reverends quick hitter news, Coach.
All right.
There are major injury woes for the Toronto Blue Jays. Injury bug has hit them, highlighted with Kirby Yates. He's heading for season-ending Tommy John surgery. There's also minor injuries to George Springer and Robbie Ray.
The NHL postpones 3 more Montreal Canadiens games due to players testing positive for COVID.
The Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson's facing 14. Now it's up to 14 lawsuits alleging sexual assault.
Lakers icon and Clippers exec Elgin Baylor has passed away at 86.
And LeBron James, as most of you know, has been sidelined. He's up to missing several weeks, potentially up to 7 or 8 weeks with an ankle sprain. Before we go anywhere else, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Are you a car guy? Do you love working on cars, or are you like me and know next to nothing? Either way, the Revolution 6 shop is for you. At the Revolution 6 shop, they do car maintenance and performance customization. They also have their 6 parts online car parts store. Currently, they are selling Track 1 coilovers and fabrication parts. They also sell K-tuned parts for all Honda models. You will find a great price for those parts at the 6 Parts online store. Find them on Instagram at 6 Parts, the number 6, IXPARTS. Find 6 Parts on Instagram. Again, find them on Instagram at the number 6, IXPARTS.
All right, we are back. We got lots on the docket today. It's the madness. My favorite time of the year. Yeah, how badly did I miss the March Madness tournament from last year? Absolutely.
Honestly, I didn't realize how much I missed it until it's back on TV.
And it's just like, I think like the first 4 days of the tournament might be like my favorite days in sports.
Yeah.
I think my favorite days in sports, period. It's
just back games all day.
So before we start into anything, we're gonna talk March Madness. We'll talk a few different topics of March Madness, all the Cinderellas going on. We'll get into some NBA talk as well. What's just your initial thoughts of this tournament and the difference of how it's been without fans in the stands and all that?
For me personally, I think you really miss the aspect of fans, because in NBA games, you have people who've paid tons of money, and it's just like they're just there for show. It feels like, for like, at least in the lower bowl, whereas you have your fan section, your student section, and it's just nuts. Right. There's a lot of cheering, a lot of hype. You got the bands playing, a lot of noise, and it ties in with the emotion of the players. So to have everything so empty has been quite a change. It's not the same, but it's cool to see some places being able to have fans as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like there's 4 games forced to overtime in the first day, and it was like they hit the shot and it's supposed to erupt, right? It's supposed to be like the best, but it was more like you can hear the players screaming, which is kind of cool, but like it's just not the same. But the college basketball, the level of play has been pretty good, I think. I was a little surprised. I thought maybe we'd see a little bit more nerves and rust, because most of them took a year off, right?
Yeah, I guess so, but they've already been playing for a little bit.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
It's like they just started like practicing 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
Right? So
I
don't know, it's been interesting. It's been interesting.
The big news around to start the college basketball tournament was all this gym equipment discrimination, where the women's bracket had one set of barbells, and the men's had this full gymnasium, and we can all agree, we all kind of know that obviously that's wrong, and it's funny how the NCAA responded. They responded by giving excuses, by saying there's not enough space and all these kinds of things, and it's just like, what are you thinking?
It's a typical NCAA response, like
big time.
I don't know who thought it was okay to have a set of barbells for the women's side. Like, I really don't. I don't. Especially nowadays, the last year and a half, we've seen such an influx of social justice warriors and things like that you'd have to imagine, if everything was not exactly equal, that there would be an outcry.
Well,
and, I get it that, the men's side brings in way more money.
As Swaggy P pointed out.
Yeah. But that's different than just providing basics.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for example, I'll give you an easy example. The U.S. women's national team for soccer, they're expecting equal pay as the men's. Now, I don't think that's fair, because the men just bring in more money. Now, if you're talking about an equal percentage of the pie, sure, all for that. Like, let's say the men make 25%, women should make 25%, right? There's a few other things that are added in there, like healthcare and stuff, that aren't on the guy's side, but you can't just expect a team that draws, let's say, 10 million a game versus a team that draws 100,000 a game to pay the players the same. It just doesn't make sense. But in this case, somebody's got to get fired. Somebody just has to get fired. It's just so a non-starter of having a set of bar. Like, everybody saw the picture, which is the worst thing. Yeah. Like, at least
they dropped excuses. Like, just take the L and let the president of the NCAA step up and say, okay, let's fix this wrong. Let's not give excuses.
Yeah, and he's already dealing with players protesting, and he's like, oh, we'll meet you after the March Madness. And it's just a bad look. And every year, basketball in particular gets this black eye when it comes to the NCAA, because it's it's a bunch of crooks. B, they're dumb. See, there's a B this time.
Yeah.
And C, it's the same mentality over and over and over again.
Right.
It's all about the money. It's all about greed. And it's not about helping the players,
No,
right?
not at all.
Which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. And okay, so it kind of all before we get into the basketball talk, let's just get out all the stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
let's get
fair.
out all the dirt. Let's talk about the NCAA basketball players themselves. Should they bring in, well, the men's side, women's side bring in a good percentage, I think, but not nearly as much as the men's side, and that's just the reality. But regardless, should the NCAA players be making money? Because they're bringing in billions for some of these organizations, for some of these universities. What are your thoughts?
I think I don't think they should be paid by the colleges or universities. They're already getting they are supposed to be trading their talent for education and boarding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think there should be a pay to play kind of thing. Now, if let's just say Nike wants to sponsor an athlete, what's nothing wrong with that, right? They're gonna sell Nike gear.
I agree.
So the problem is that there's antitrust laws that govern all different kinds of states. It has to be at a federal level what the actual rule is going to be like. And we know out in California, they're saying athletes can get paid now. I think it's interesting because of this pay issue, at least in basketball, players can now go to the G League and play for a year.
Big time. And that's
Right?
why we're seeing all these stars that aren't in the tournament this year.
Yeah, which is actually, I think, is fine, because if you think you're that good, you go to the G League. And if you're not that, and then you get dumped around, well, then you've hurt your draft stock, so to speak. But maybe you've opened your eyes into what you should be doing,
Yeah.
right? It's a difficult question because it brings up the eligibility thing
Right.
as well.
Which
And-
I think is going to change again soon.
Probably, because it's like, oh, let these guys play. They're 18, whatever. They can go to the G League. But if you're a GM, there's a lot of pressure on you to make the right picks. Are you really going to hand an 18-year-old a couple million right off the bat without seeing him being an adult for a bit? Even if you go to college, and sure, it's cushy, but like you have to survive.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get yourself to practice. You got to show up, maintain at least a minimum GPA of some sort.
And it gets you in a true routine of a professional athlete, at least.
Yeah. Like,
So,
if you look in Europe, like Luka Doncic and those guys, even Rubio, they're playing when they were 14, 15, but they were also dealing with things like having bills to pay,
yeah.
having to travel, going here, going there, making sure their passport, like they have help,
Of
but
course.
they still have to get to the gym and do those kind of things,
Yeah. Big time.
right? So should they get paid? You know what? If you are, let's say, Duke University, maybe house them somewhere a little nicer, you know?
Give them some better treatment.
Yeah, like, sure, you bring in X amount of dollars to that university, they can spend a percentage. If Nike wants to, sponsor whoever, fine, let them get paid.
It just seems unfair, though. It seems unfair, like, okay, yes, they are getting their scholarships and they're getting their housing, all that stuff, but
Mhm.
they still don't get really anything else, right? Richard Sherman talked about when he was a college athlete, his bank account was in the negatives his whole time there, and how does he like?
See, that's interesting to me, because it's like, okay, your bank account's in the negatives and you're talking about being poor, but how many parties did you go to? What were you spending your money on? Right? There's a two-sided coin to everything, yes.
But then he has to do more than every other student. He has to go to practice. He has to do 2-a-days. He has to play games, right?
Yeah, but to me, it's like, what are you spending your money on?
Well, he probably didn't have much money to spend. And
Right, so
he probably didn't have to spend a lot regardless, because he had all the food and all the stuff for
Yeah.
him.
So if you're telling me like he's upset that he couldn't go party hardy, well then, you know what, bro?
Well, he never said party hardy. He just
Yeah,
said,
but this is what he's implying, right? It's like, oh, I didn't have money, I was negative. Give me a break. Give me a break. This college sports, if you don't understand this fact, you shouldn't be playing. College sports isn't about learning. It's not about building skill set. It's about a being business. It's a big business, and you have to treat it as such, right? Yeah, it's great to see. You got 64 teams of maybe 15 guys on each team. All these kids out, and they're kids. They're 18, 19, 20, like they're kids playing their hearts out. But 1% of those kids know it's a business for them because they're on going to the next level.
yeah.
Even in college football.
Yeah. So isn't that proving the point that this is all they have? This is it. They should be getting something for it. It's like having a job, a full-time job while going to school full-time.
Well, they don't even go to school. Let's be real.
Well, they have practices and tutors scheduled around them, but still.
Yeah. Like, let's be honest. Not really.
Yeah, of course they do.
They will get pushed through. Let's just use Richard Sherman as an example, okay?
He's a smart guy, though. That's a bad guy to use.
Okay. Okay, there have been so many stories. Even think about the last few years where grades were made up, classes were made up, attendance was made up to push these guys through, to make them look good.
True.
What happens to university? Oh, you're docked $1 million. Oh, there's a scandal. Well, who cares? They've made so many more million off these kids, right? So that's what I'm saying. If you're going to treat it as a business, maybe you don't give them a salary, so to speak, right? But maybe you give them access to like a stipend of some sort.
So, can you explain they can make money off their likeness, they said now?
Yes, correct.
So what does that
mean?
So
like EA Sports March Madness, let's say they come with a video game.
Right.
Right? And let's say for you're starting point guard of UNC.
College football is coming out with a game in the next 2 years again.
Great, right? So you got Chandron on the back, UNC on the front. You should get some of that money, right? Because they're using your likeness.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they're going to give you, but even if you got, honestly, $1 per every game sold, that's money coming your way. Right? That's what Nike gonna sponsor you. Jordan Brand will give you a couple $100,000 over your time. Like if you're that good. Like the idea that this has to be fair is a fallacy. It's just false because it's all about being business. It's a business. It's not about giving everybody equal opportunity.
Okay.
Why do you think this all goes to why do you think there's always been a select few schools who are great?
Because they get the best players, because they probably bribe them in some sort of way.
But they also know that if you go to these programs, not only will you get top tier coaching, you get top tier exposure, you'll meet the right people in the market, right? It's just like working for your family.
Well, it's just like John Calipari was a funnel to the NBA for these guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? So it's a give and take.
Okay, so with all this being said now, all these, you're absolutely missing star power now in the March Madness tournament.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who the best player going in, the number 8 guy is in the NCAA men's basketball right now, because the star power has all gone to the G League, which is kind of scary. In terms of, will March Madness be as epic as it will always be? Like, they took away the stars, and it's still been fun. It's been filled with Cinderellas. It's been the most upsets in tournament history.
Right. And plus, you throw in the COVID aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's gonna the idea of what March Madness is going to definitely change.
Yeah.
But how many players have dominated an entire run?
Melo, Durant, Kemba, a handful, only a handful.
Only a handful, right? So I think the idea about March Madness, while it's star-driven in terms of matchups, a lot of it is how well the teams play together.
True.
Right? Because, you said Melo and Durant. Those guys were...
Kemba.
Yeah. But Kemba didn't put up the whole, like, that UConn team was nuts, though.
That's true.
right?
The
Like
Florida
you don't
Gators
have,
with Joachim and Alfred.
yeah, because they had good teams,
Horford.
like in Horford, yeah. Uh, what I'm saying is like you don't have like the Durants and Melos are less rare compared to teams that are just like, you got three really good players who just ball out the whole tournament, right? Or you have that one, underdog team that has their best player go off for 4 games.
Like the guy from Oral Roberts right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Right. So I think that the magic of March Madness isn't necessarily the big name players, but it's that team atmosphere. It's the story of the Cinderellas, hopefully. And you can cater to that image by changing how you talk about the March Madness.
True.
You start talking about it teams instead of individuals. You can create the narrative about, up and coming Oral Roberts, shot like garbage the first half of the year, are all of a sudden unreal and can't miss.
I don't know why Drew Martin's not here. He's commenting on our YouTube channel as we're speaking, and he pitched in Adam Morrison. Well, absolutely Adam Morrison. Hey, Drew made a smart basketball comment. Yeah, let's go. Two-time, is he a two-time champion? I think he is.
Yeah,
Adam Morrison, two-time champion.
And NBA champ.
Yeah, that's right. And NBA champ. So,
Adam Morrison. What a guy.
Okay, so what about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is your winner right now for the March Madness tournament? There's been major upsets along the way. Who is your winner for March Madness right now?
Hey, the cheesy answer is the fans.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
We have been winners for sure.
Stop
because I love it. But if you're talking about teams, you got to go with a couple.
Okay.
Oregon State Beavers.
Okay.
I didn't even know this team existed.
What do you mean?
Until the tourney.
Okay.
Until the tourney, right? Like, I can't remember the last time I watched basketball and saw the Oregon State Beavers. Okay? The next winner is Oral Roberts.
Yeah, baby. That's
right?
AG is Assemblies of God represented right there. I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely.
Oral Roberts, baby. I believe that's where Billy Graham went as a.
Correct. So that's another winner, and the last winner is the Pac-10.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Pac-12.
Pac-12. Yeah.
Like
dominating. It's
insane. You don't have Duke. You don't have UK. All of a sudden, these Pac-12 teams are just destroying everybody.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like even a team like the Houston Cougars, who play in the next division, right? Like, it's great. Go ahead. What do you think?
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite? Like, not to win it, but who are you cheering for? Because at this point,
cheering for?
At this point, you can choose the number one seed that's favored. But who are you cheering for?
Honestly, I really want Oral Roberts to do well.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've just kind of, or Houston. I kind of like Houston as well, but I'm hoping for Oral Roberts.
Yeah,
I really do. I hope they can make the next round.
I'm definitely with you on Oral Roberts, but I'm also cheering on the legend, the nun, sister.
Oh.
I think Sister Jean is Loyola Chicago, and honestly, they play basketball the right way. My goodness, they play defensive, efficient basketball. They are tough at the rim, and they play aggressive on the 3-point line. It's incredible.
Very Spursian.
Yes, exactly, and a very team-oriented, very aggressive defensively. I love it. And they basically have Nikola Jokic 2.0 playing for them. So he looks like he could be a 7-foot tall plumber. But this guy does it all. He is Nikola Jokic. He also looks tired all the time, but isn't
all the time.
So
yeah. I think this is the kind of themes that we got to be looking at from now on, instead of the one and dones, because it feels like if you are looking at teams and eliminate the one and dones, there's not guys who are just going to be here 1 year and then jumping up. The kind of assassins, kind of just taking advantage of the system. Let them go to the G League.
Yeah.
Let them play against dudes who they think they can dummy.
For sure.
And get dummied themselves.
Yeah.
And learn a few things.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Okay. Any other surprises? Any other thoughts going into the March Madness? I just love watching the games. Can't wait for the weekend.
Unbelievable. You know what? I will say this though. Michigan has looked real good with one of their really best players.
Juwan Howard is coaching up a storm, man.
It's nice to see because you see a lot of these ex-NBA players try and coach and they are not very good at it.
The Patrick Ewing, I really thought he was going to have a good run because their team was ranked last in their division, then won their play-in tournament or their championship week, which brought them up pretty well. And I thought they were gelling. I thought they were going to have a decent run, but they totally wet the bed.
Yeah, well, a lot of it sometimes is that momentum piece of where you peak, right?
Yeah.
They may have just used up a lot of energy to get to the tourney, and then come March Madness, boom, they just couldn't handle it.
It was, I just feel for Patrick Ewing because he's in his own stadium, all right, in New York, and he's getting harassed by the security guards. Like, come on now, really? Bad on New York. Bad on New York. Let's before we check out some NBA action, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Have you ever thought about how well your investments are performing? Have you wanted to understand how the stock market works and how you can look after your financial future, but have been unsure of where or even how to get started? Train to Invest is North America's leading investment education and training corporation, with the sole purpose of providing a new way of thinking about wealth management. Through teaching, training, and coaching individuals in both the art and science of self-directed investing, Train to Invest offers a complete education and training experience to empower families to begin their journey of planning for future generations through investment education. To find out more, look at www.traintoinvest.com and download our free ebook. Again, www.train2invest.com to find more information about our program and download our free ebook.
All right, we're back, and we're going to talk some NBA action, and there's been some major trade line frenzy business going on. Yes, Colin, I hit the record button. All right, relax, Colin Beauchamp. Shout out to our loyal fan, Colin Beauchamp. He just got a new job, a new permanent job, and so congrats to him starting his career.
Hey, go buy some Sports Drive merch, bro.
There we go. We gotta get some. Gotta make some first, but we'll do it. We'll do it. So NBA trade line frenzy. It always is an emotional time, especially when your teams are struggling and looking for some sort of hope, or if your team is doing well and looking to upgrade. It can be an emotional time. I look at your Spurs. The Spurs are in a great spot, in a playoff spot. They're competitive. I've already commented that they're looking for a sale for LaMarcus Aldridge and officially have placed DeMar DeRozan on the trade block.
Which makes sense. I 100% agree with these moves. They should have traded both these guys earlier in the year.
Yeah.
I'm happy that the Spurs are right now, they're 7th in the division, right?
Yeah.
Being a realistic person, are they going to make a run and win the championship? Not even maybe. I mean, they might, as it stands, they play the Suns the next round. They could, maybe take that series. If it goes to 7, but the round after that, forget about it. So, what's the smart thing? Cash in on your.
What's the smart thing by selling DeMar DeRozan?
You gotta get some, because you're gonna resign him? You're not gonna resign him for what he wants.
No.
Is he worth $25 million? No, absolutely not. He's not.
Depends on the situation.
No, because he's going to be too old by the time that contract's done. So if you're the Spurs and your timeline is over,
I say, meh.
Yeah, I'm right. If you're the Spurs and your timeline is with the younger guys.
Maybe if they had a better coach.
Oh, enough.
Wait. We got a special something happening right now.
Oh, gosh.
This is going to mess everything up. But we have a special guest with us right now. Someone decided to come play.
Better late than never, right?
Better late than never. We're just going to pause for 1 second. Just going to adjust one screen. And we're going to get
Nice try.
Reverend Drew Martin in here. Okay, here we go.
Sorry, boys.
They can hear us. So why don't you guys keep talking for a sec? I'm just going to adjust this. We're talking NBA trade deadlines. Go.
We're talking about the Spurs, and you got young guys. That is your timeline. Get rid of this cap fodder. Get something back in return. They don't fit your long-term plan. And you're not going to pay DeRozan $25-30 million next year. So why keep him? Yeah, he's a nice guy, and he's talked about his issues with mental health and whatever, and that's fine. But we're talking about building a team here. That has nothing to do with basketball. That's a more personal thing. You can't keep a guy just because of a personal thing. You got to make a business decision, right?
Wow.
We just talked about college basketball being business. NBA is even worse. It's ruthless. It's cutthroat. So you get rid of LaMarcus. You get rid of DeRozan. I don't know who's going to take these guys anyway. But
that's the thing. Who's going to take them?
DeRozan doesn't fit the modern NBA. Like, neither of those guys really do. Really?
But DeRozan can at least get his own bucket these days. That's the thing. That's the value of DeMar, is that he will get you a bucket when you need it one-on-one. Aldridge, he isn't that same type of guy anymore. You're not going to get 35, 10, and 12 from him. But he can help any sort of team. As a stretch power forward, stretch center, if Marc Gasol can still have an impact, Aldridge can, do more than that.
Does Marc?
Yeah, I was gonna say, does he have an impact?
Hey, well, I will see. We'll see with LeBron out. We'll see. But I think
They're going 0-15, whatever they play. They're terrible.
I just think it's time, and I'm glad the Spurs are making the moves. For me, when Tim Duncan retired, all that play for the team, whatever it was, died with me. They could trade whoever they wanted after that point. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just tough. It's a tough position to be in because they're in 7th place still. They're in the playoffs. Right? And that's, the Warriors are 9th. The Grizz are 10th. Pelicans are down at 12th. It's bizarre.
Okay.
It's bizarre.
Okay. So, trade deadline frenzy. We got some crazy ones that have just popped up. The Indiana Pacers have placed Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis. They're taking calls for them. They're taking calls for Domantas Sabonis and Brogdon. They better be asking for the world. But to me, that's already a giant mistake for them. The Boston Celtics. I'll let you guys talk in one sec. The Boston Celtics, Marcus Smart, 2 first-round picks are on the table for someone to take. I think that's a mistake. I still think the Spurs, I don't know what you get back for DeRozan, so I think that's a mistake because they're in the playoffs, the playoff hunt. The teams that I agree with that have players on the trade block are the Toronto Raptors, sell. Orlando Magic, Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier. Is there anyone else? Oladipo from Houston. Anyone from Houston, basically you can sell at this point because they're going to be a rebuild for 5 years. So John Wall, I would sell. Oladipo, I would
Christian
sell.
Wood.
Christian Wood, yeah, he's not young, so sell him.
He's not old either.
How old is he?
Like 25.
25.
Yeah,
so
you keep him. We keep him.
maybe keep Christian Wood.
He's good.
Yeah, I
he's
like
good.
Christian Wood. I thought he was 27 for some reason.
The Warriors are in an interesting position too.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Right? They got cap issues coming up. Plus, they have you got to think about what's next season really at this point. What's the best
Clay
to get
coming back.
Clay coming back, right? So, do you keep Oubre? Do you trade him while he's still hot? Because I think he's unrestricted next year, right? But they may have the bird rights. So they're in an interesting position because they're outside of the playoffs. You try and package something with Draymond Green and get him out of there, right? I don't know.
Draymond Green, self-proclaimed best defensive player of all time.
Self-proclaimed is the key word.
All time.
That's Scottie Pippen must just be like, honestly, this guy's a moron.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second because I'm going to propose a question.
Do you know who Draymond reminds me of? The guy we had in our podcast didn't let me speak.
Shout out to Ben Council. I'm still coming for you, Ben Council. I'm coming for you in Mississauga.
Don't worry, he doesn't listen.
That's true.
He's too busy talking.
Too busy talking. All right.
Shots fired. I know.
Okay. So what's going on here, boys? Maybe let's focus on one team at a time here. Let's start with the Raptors because that's Canada's team. It looks like they're going to move at the minimum Norman Powell, and that makes the most sense. But I think
most sense in terms of
go ahead first, guys. Go ahead.
Sorry, it makes the most sense in terms of getting assets back. Sure.
And cap space.
Yeah, but who are you saving the cap space for? Like, we're not getting Giannis, right? Like that dream's dead. Kawhi is probably not coming back.
Kawhi,
right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no real free agents next year who are gonna.
No, Kawhi is on a player option next year.
Yeah, he's gonna opt out and get more money. It's just what it is.
Could it be the biggest bust ever with Kawhi moving to the Clippers and not even like if they don't win or anything next year, if they don't even make the conference finals next year, would that be one of the biggest like mistakes of all time?
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Especially not Kawhi going there, but what the Clippers gave up to get Paul George there.
Right.
Big
because SGA is looking like a legit star.
Oh, mama.
And that's a lot of draft capital.
Yeah.
Oh, mama. SGA is the real deal.
But I like the proposed trade that you told us about in the chat. There, Norman Powell and Lowry for Hero, Robinson, and Nunn from the Heat.
Yeah.
Like, I love that trade.
I'd be down for that.
Gives us depth, and I don't think you lose that much either.
No.
I think enough of Kyle Lowry's, essence and leadership has rubbed off on the rest of them already. And Kendrick Nunn is, I think, a very good point guard, up and coming. So,
yeah, he was just hurt before. That's why he didn't look so good.
And Hero and Robinson are sharpshooters. Like,
nasty.
They would fit that system well.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that would make the Miami Heat true contenders this year. Lowry and Norman Powell added to that lineup with Jimmy, Bam.
I don't think so. I would not do that if I was the Heat.
You're sacrificing a lot of future gains. Yeah, for sure.
I'm saying now.
No, I'm not even talking about future. I'm talking about depth in your team right now.
Well, they would still have Dragic, and they still have lots of depth, I think.
I think if you make a massive trade like that, though, you're really messing up the chemistry, right? Because you don't have a ton of time to get these guys acclimated to the system. It's going to be a big change for both Norman and Lowry, who've played so long in Toronto, right? So yeah, going from Tampa to Miami, not a big deal, but culture-wise is probably similar, but playing style, different story.
So if you guys are Toronto Raptors, do you look to either retool or blow it up?
I trade Lowry. I trade Siakam. Build around OG.
Drew?
And Van Vliet. Yeah, I build around OG and Van Vliet.
Yeah, and Van Vliet. What do you think, resident Ontarian?
I would keep Siakam. I'd keep OG, and I'd keep Van Vliet. I'd keep Boucher.
Oh, I keep Boucher.
I like Boucher, but it depends on the price.
I think Siakam's value is only going to get lower from here. So I think now's the time to field some calls on him. See if you can get a bonus out of it.
I'm a total believer in Siakam still. I think he.
By the way, the Pacers looking to get rid of Brogdon and Sabonis. Those are two
bonus in a heartbeat.
I would take either of those players in a heartbeat.
Like it's ridiculous that they're trying to get rid of them. I don't understand.
Like if you're gonna get rid of someone on that team, like shop Miles Turner.
Absolutely, shop Miles Turner.
Not that Miles Turner's a bad dude.
No, he's not a star. Those two other guys are stars.
Yeah. I think Miles Turner has a chance.
Well, let's hold the brakes here. I don't think Brogdon's a star. I think he's.
I think he's a star.
If we can call Chris Middleton a star, we can call Brogdon a star.
I don't know about that.
100%. Look, Milwaukee should never have let that kid go.
True, 100%.
Right? I would think
they should have got rid of Bledsoe.
Yeah, a Brogdon, Middleton, Giannis team. Ooh, is tough
for sure.
But if I'm the Raptors, I'm trying to trade for Sabonis.
Okay, so Raptors, that's what you're doing. The Raptors. If you're the Pacers, you're not trying to sell. You're trying to bring someone in to add to that core, right?
Try and sell them on Siakam.
But you tried to sell Sabonis for Siakam?
Powell and Siakam for Sabonis.
But I'm saying from the Pacers' point of view, you don't want to do that, right?
No.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, maybe. It depends how high you are on Siakam.
I am pretty high on Siakam, but...
Exactly. And Siakam someone else might be too.
Yeah, that's true.
Siakam at the 4, Miles at the 5. That's a long front court.
True.
And they still have TJ Warren, who hasn't played a game. Has he played at all this year?
That's a big...
And LeVert is just starting to play, right?
Yeah.
So...
Okay, so what about the Celtics? Why are the Celtics in like a sell mode here?
I think you got to capitalize on Marcus Smart. His value is not going to get much higher than this. They need something. I like Brown. I love Tatum. Kemba Walker's been a bust.
Whoa.
He has been.
Not a bust.
He has been. He's been hurt. He's been hurt for so many games. Okay? But the thing that really is in the Celtics' back pocket is they have a $28 million trade exception. So they can absorb somebody's big salary. Who's out there that is unhappy? Who would fit the Celtics profile?
Do you really think Aaron Gordon would make a huge difference for them?
They have nobody in the paint. They literally have nobody in the paint.
It's true.
Tristan Thompson, absolute disaster. Tice, great at setting picks.
And
great at getting rebounds.
Yeah, decent defensively.
Yeah, decent. But the guy can't score in the NBA. Aaron Gordon will run the lanes. He'll dunk, hit a few mid-range jimmies, maybe a 3. And he might just be excited to get out of Orlando. I think a lot of people aren't as high on him because he really hasn't done a lot. But if you look at it early in his career, he had coach after coach after coach after coach, system after system. It hasn't been a stable presence for that development. You see that all the time with players, especially young guys, right? I think he goes to the South.
Joel frozen. Good. Finally, we get a word in too.
He can stop talking about Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, stop talking about Aaron Gordon. He's terrible.
He is awful.
I wouldn't want Aaron Gordon for you'd have to give me something to take Aaron Gordon basically on the even on the Raptors because he's just he doesn't do anything well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not even
he doesn't have a standout thing, right? I get it.
And he can't shoot, and he keeps shooting. So, okay, what about the Lakers? Now, the Lakers have talked about shipping Montrezl Harrell, and now they're in a downward spiral. Now that LeBron James is out for minimum 4 weeks more, could be up to 7, maybe even 8. Who knows with his age? We know he's superhuman and all that kind of things, but those high ankle sprains, they take time. They're not going to rush 80 back. They could literally drop. They could literally drop to below 6th in the next 2 weeks if they don't win a game. Below the 6th spot.
Without AD and LeBron, they are one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. So what do they do? What do they do?
But do you want to? They can't do anything.
They trade their.
They don't have any trade assets.
They have picks and they have
Kuzma?
Montrezl Harrell. Kyle Kuzma.
Is he frozen again?
I think
Come on.
You keep freezing there, coach. Sorry.
Okay, give me a second.
No,
it's okay.
I think you just have to bring in someone that's going to get you to stay in the playoffs at this point for the Lakers. There's no other option.
But how? How would you do that?
Yeah, I don't see what picks do they have? They're not going to be high picks.
Yeah, but still, first rounders are worthwhile, even if they're down the line. You can go up to 4 years, right?
They're not.
In 4 years, their first round pick could be great. Right?
Yeah, I'm not gambling on that though.
And who would you, if you're an executive, who would you trade for? Like who could they possibly get that would move the needle enough to put them in a position? Because all they have to do is stay in the playoffs, which they will.
If you're the Toronto Raptors and they offer you,
who cares if they're sixth?
Montrezl Harrell and a first round pick for Kyle Lowry, would you say no?
Yes.
Why?
If I'm the Lakers, I don't even know why I would even make that. Because, okay, look, I like it from the Raptors' point of view because we get a big man, sure. But from the Lakers' point of view, that makes no sense.
I think it does. Schroeder,
how?
Lowry, a stable point guard.
Who plays the center position?
AD when he's back, right?
We don't know when he's coming back.
And the idea for the Lakers is the buyout market, right? They're waiting for Andre Drummond. They're waiting for JaVale McGee again. Potentially a few others. LaMarcus Aldridge.
If you're getting Andre Drummond,
that's the belief, right? That they believe they're getting Andre Drummond.
Well, where else is he going to go? He's not going to the Nets.
Why not? Who knows? The Nets are getting everybody.
Yeah.
He's not going to the Raptors. That's what we know. Yeah. No free agents will go there.
He might go to the Clippers, though.
Maybe. They had the cap space.
He could make the cap space.
Probably.
I think the Lakers have like 3.5 million. The Clippers have 1.7, something like that. So
okay.
I think what you got to do is you got to find a way to trade Schroeder.
But they need him.
He's terrible.
He averages like high teens of points, isn't he?
He's probably the highest value of anyone else on that team.
What do you get back for Schroeder, though?
Somebody, I don't know. Maybe Kelly Oubre?
Schroeder, Harrell, and a pick for Lowry and Norman Powell.
I wouldn't be too happy about the Schroeder part, but
I'm just saying that gets you a few wins. Norman Powell, Kyle Kuzma, Kyle Lowry.
It gives you the shooting that you need on the wings because they don't have great shooters.
No, they need lots of help, really. But regardless, okay. So this trade light, this is how the rest of this week is playing out, my friends. For those of you that have been following sports, the rest of this week plays out up until Thursday. Thursday's the trade deadline for the NBA, so it's gonna be wild until then. And then we will still have continued NFL free agency frenzy as there's still quarterbacks up in the air. Russell Wilson has been cryptic in his tweeting, and all these kinds of things. So there's lots of quarterbacks up in the air and not settled.
Deshaun Watson might be going to jail.
Yeah, who knows what's happening with the job? Hey, innocent till proven guilty. I'm not casting any judgment, but it's probably not a good thing when there's 14 alleged assaults already. But innocent till proven guilty. That's the law. And then after that is back into March Madness where we have
who knows what's going to happen.
Just so many Cinderella stories. So this is a great week ahead of sports.
We got the Masters coming up too.
I was just gonna say the Masters coming up. The group of death. Who's in that group? Do you know, Drew?
No.
Okay. Anyways, there's a group of death. I can't remember who's in it, but I just saw the article. But anyways, it's just filled with sports. This is gonna be awesome. Let's talk Draymond Green for a second. Okay. He made the comment, greatest defensive player of all time. Okay. Here's the argument for Draymond Green is that he can quarterback a defense. He can cover 1 through 5. Name someone else that can do that.
He can't cover 1 through 5. He cannot. That's absolute hearsay.
He can kind of cover 1 through 5.
No, he can't.
Okay, you put him on Trae Young. Trae Young's lighting him up. You put him on Luka. Yeah, because he's too slow.
Maybe.
He's too slow. You put him on Kyle Lowry, sure.
Hey,
Sure, he can lock down Lowry.
Stop it. No one can lock
He's not
down.
covering Jokic, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's not, Embiid he's getting destroyed by.
Even Gobert.
Yeah, Gobert would dummy him too.
Gobert, you just got to push Gobert outside of the paint, okay?
Gobert's too long, though.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. Easier said than done. I think Draymond 3 or 4 years ago, sure, he could cover 1 through 5
Okay.
adequately.
Even 3 or 4 years ago, Draymond.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead.
I don't even think he's the best defensive player of his era. Like, all time. Like, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous statement.
I'm not trying to argue for him. I'm just
I know.
giving some ideas of why. Tony Allen then tweeted back at him saying he's the best defensive player of all time.
Tony Allen needs to shut up.
Tony Allen, yes. Yes, Tony Allen.
Didn't Kobe call Tony Allen the greatest defender or the best defender that ever defended him or something?
He said one of the toughest is Tony Allen. He mentioned Tony Allen.
Tony Allen is a great on the ball defender. I won't take that away from him. But you're trying to tell there's no Scottie Pippen would trounce all these guys.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Scottie, not only will he shut down the best player at times, right? He can still put points on the board.
Yeah.
Draymond gets celebrated for putting a bunch of singles up. Great. Tony Allen couldn't hit a layup to save his life.
So anyway, it came up.
Anyways.
Oh, gosh. Raptors reportedly, the Raptors and Heat trade discussions are heating up right now as we speak. Just got the notification. If they can pull Duncan, Hero, and Kendrick Nunn, can we just?
Is that something you heard, or is it just something you made up?
No, that's the legitimate trade offer that's been on the table.
I don't know if they'll give up Hero though.
I'm just saying.
Hero's good.
If Masai
and really young.
can pull Hero, Robinson, and Nunn, come on, that will be a miracle.
They couldn't pull Giannis, so.
Well, no one could. Anyways, I brought up the Draymond Green stuff because the big debate has been who's the defensive player of the year this year. And it's interesting because the conversation kind of went to where we were already talking about. Rudy Gobert talked about how he's the defensive player of the year, and Ben Simmons was talking about how he was. It's kind of sad that they're trying to fight for their own cases, but put that aside. Ben Simmons says he does way more and can cover. He says he can cover 1 through 5.
Oh my goodness.
Rudy Gobert can only cover bigs.
I think
before I'll say one more thing. Rudy Gobert responded saying it's about impact. So both kind of like Ben Simmons is pretty amazing. I would give him covering 1 through 4, legitimate, not 5, but 1 through 4. But Rudy Gobert, bigger impact. Let's see. What do you guys think?
Well, I think Gobert on the defensive side affects the whole team's game plan.
Big time.
Ben Simmons can lock down one guy, but Gobert can sort of affect. It doesn't even matter if he's guarding you. You have to be aware of him when you're going to the hoop.
Big time.
Yeah, I would agree with Drew 100%. I think Ben Simmons is a great defender, but his impact is more on the offensive side. Whereas Gobert, you funnel everything into Gobert.
Although you put up someone like Jokic or Embiid against Gobert, they're still getting theirs against Gobert.
Yeah, I think that's a system issue. Because Gobert does so much for that defense, he can't just concentrate on guarding his guy 100%. Right? He's gotta guard his guy. They funnel guys to him. He's gotta, watch the rim and protect the rim and do that kind of stuff.
Well, you're the one who is going to have to tell Coach Snyder because he's a super villain and he's going to, get you it's just trouble.
Okay. Super villain, number 1 in the West. If I say anything, I'm not going to be here next pod.
Yeah.
So-
They're also Utah, so don't go to Utah. You won't be here next pod for sure.
Hey, they're all black guys on the team anyway. Come on.
Okay, so you guys are really just saying Gobert number 1. You're not
I think
taking,
so.
you're not taking account how hard it is to lock someone down in the NBA these days.
But no one can lock down anyone.
Ben Simmons is pretty close.
Yeah, the NBA, there are just so many good scorers in the NBA.
I know, but Ben Simmons is pretty close.
I know.
But here's the thing, though. Ben Simmons can lock down his guy. Gobert can lock down his guy other than a few centers and affect the rest of the like.
Well,
and he affects. You have to be aware of him because his arms are so. Like you can't take a shot anywhere near
he's
him.
the Stifle Tower, 100%. I just say
Yeah.
like Ben Simmons can chase down guys, and he can also disrupt the passing lanes, right?
I think Ben Simmons looks flashier playing defense.
Yeah, for sure that.
Right. I think that, and I think part of it, he might also get DPOY votes because people are tired of voting for Gobert,
Yeah.
and no one wants to vote for Draymond. Really,
No one
No.
wants to vote for Draymond. Draymond's stock has just tanked. Absolutely tanked.
if the Warriors could somehow trade away Draymond, Wiggins, and keep Oubre, that'd be unreal.
No, I like Wiggins. Trade Uber.
I like Oubre better.
Oubre's been playing way better this year.
No.
Yeah.
No. Absolutely not.
Wiggins looks so bad.
You guys, stop it. Wiggins has been good. He just dropped 40 points the other night.
Did they win?
They did. I don't know. I can't remember. It's really not fun watching the Golden State Warriors without Steph Curry. It's just the truth.
Yeah. But even honestly though, like
With Steph
I'm not
Curry, they're
saying-
fun. I'm telling you, they're super fun.
yeah, I'm not saying Steph's overrated, but he has to find no. He has to find a way. I think the hype around him is overrated. He's got to find a way to stay healthy and really make an impact on this team because they need him.
He fell
He
on
can't-
his tailbone in. I don't know.
It's like, come on, like just yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
You're
just-
right.
I
Yes,
just-
he does have
I
to
just
find a
have
way
a
to stay
high-
healthy.
I just have a high standard of what I expect of this stuff because he can do it. But like he has to, I don't know. There just seems something off when he's not playing the way he's used to playing, like fun loving. I'm not a big fan of the crazy deep threes because it just takes your team out of possession. But like, they miss Clay. Clay did a lot for this team that people don't realize.
Very underappreciated, Clay
Yeah.
Thompson. I will say this: Luka Magic has been something special since All-Star break, and
Well, when you hit on a ref, I mean, that's just something else.
that's just brilliant. First of all, but the Dallas Mavericks, they're the real deal here.
Okay, define real
Especially-
deal.
Huh?
Define real deal.
I'm about to, especially with the Lakers. With many unknowns with the Lakers, the Dallas Mavericks are right there in contention to make the NBA Finals. They are absolutely the Clippers' kryptonite just because of matchups. But they are right there. I'm telling you.
Denver would kill them.
I don't know about that. A healthy Kristaps Porzingis.
Healthy. If you give me a healthy Dallas versus a healthy Denver, I'm picking Denver in 6.
I will go Dallas. In fact,
Denver in 5.
I thought you were going to say sweep.
I'll say sweep. The way Michael Porter Jr. is playing right now,
he's
like
balling.
that team.
He's balling.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's
Come on.
balling. I can't take anything away from Denver. Denver for sure. Yes, they are in contention.
Because that was the one thing we said. If Michael Porter Jr. can start playing like a legit star, or at least a third
wheel, yeah.
like that's a great third wheel.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big
No.
time.
And then Will Barton's still playing really well.
Yeah, their depth.
All-
They have depth.
all
They have
stops.
everything. They have everything.
And Gary Harris hasn't been back, has he?
I don't think so. I think
I like Gary
limited,
Harris.
very limited back.
It hasn't been back to full Gary Harris.
Okay, boys, let's wrap it up. We will be on next week again, potentially with a special guest, but we're not going to tell you who.
Bum, bum, bum.
That means you don't know.
Yes, that's very true. I'm kind of waiting on actually you, Drew, to figure out if your guy can come come join us. So
Yeah.
I actually have a couple gifts coming your guys' way eventually. From one of our sponsors. I'm wearing one of our sponsors' hoodies here. God the Father Apparel here. And
Stand up a bit.
got a t-shirt that says I can do all things on it, and the back of the sweater says Relentless. God the Father Apparel is one of our new sponsors. You guys can use use code SportsRev15 to check them out. You can check them out through our Instagram page and get a 15% discount. And I got a shirt and a sweater coming your guys' way.
Colin Beauchamp, are you paying attention?
Yeah, he
Use
just
your
got a new
frustration.
job. Colin Beauchamp. Go check out that sponsor and go buy something so that we can, I don't know.
We can pay Kobe's food bill.
Yeah, there we go. My friends, thanks for tuning in today. We'll have this up on our podcast platforms sometime soon, and we will see you guys later.
Check us out. Instagram, Twitter,
There we go.
website, Facebook.
And that's it. Peace out, world.
Peace.
Peace.
Wait for it.